train to avoid highway in a certain place. I mean, that was just challenging, and but I mean, nothing bad happened. It was just hard and made me realize actually I'd rather just cycle. But no, nothing bad has happened at all. Quite the opposite. I've come across so much kindness and such friendly people, generous people. It's been amazing.
You are in Mexico from when? Because you started in Portugal in January, you said. Now you are in Mexico, a couple of months, 1 month?
So I came across in September. So I think probably about 6 weeks I've been here now in Mexico. Yeah.
How is the situation in Mexico? You know, field threat. You are aware of that Mexico is a little bit challenge for instance, you know, roughly.
Well, I've heard that, and I especially heard a lot about the dangers in Mexico in the US. But, you know, the reality is that once I crossed the border, we crossed at Tijuana. Once I crossed the border, I felt so much more relaxed, and I feel much safer in Mexico than I did in the US, particularly in California. I mean, that's the reality. I have never come across any situation in Mexico where I felt in the least bit unsafe or threatened. Quite the opposite. I mean, people are so kind and friendly, and, you know, I'm not stupid. I do know that there's, you know, drug wars and other things going on, and, you know, but that's just, bad things happen all over the world in every country, and it's just a matter of being sensible. But I personally have never come across any situation where I felt unsafe. In fact, you know, I feel quite safe camping wild in Mexico, whereas in the US, I felt unsafe doing that. I wouldn't do it. So yeah.
How interesting is your mindset, because people actually always consider that those countries dangerous situation kind of perception, you know. And now you said that you feel safe over there. So this is a message you send to the people.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're right. I think it is about mindset. I think, you know, we all have our own fears, and, you know, for someone that has a strong fear of, I don't know, being in a situation where there's strong cultural differences, and, you know, that alters people's perceptions. I guess I don't have a fear of, you know, different cultures and different ways of life. I guess I'm happy and very comfortable to go with the flow, whatever the culture. But I think there's stories, you know, that get out of control. I think, you know, it's just different. It's just different, and people are afraid of difference, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's just what I think. Maybe that's what happens.
This is what is interesting about cycling experience. When somebody cycling, it's like everything disappears.
Yeah.
Fear, preoccupation. It's like you living in the real time, the present. The present is the more important. If the present is okay, everything else, I don't know, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's not that fear goes away completely. I think it changes. You know, like the kind of fears, it's uncomfortable not having an income. It's an uncomfortable situation when you actually don't know when you might be able to earn money again. And if I lost all my money for some reason, you know, like I do sort of think about that a little bit, although those kind of fears have certainly diminished over time. But then you get other kind of fears like, you know, where am I going to sleep tonight? Oh my goodness, I'm so far away from anywhere, or I can't find somewhere to camp. You know, they're not major fears, but they sort of, you know, they worry you on a day-to-day basis. Things like that, meeting new people. It's great. I love it. but it's not within your comfort zone all the time. Constantly outside your comfort zone, actually, when you're traveling and you're meeting new people, especially when you're on your own. So I wouldn't say there's no fear, but the fears are more about sort of day-to-day survival and life, and things that are sort of close to you, rather than fear of the future and fear of work stuff, and the stress of having to meet obligations. That's one of the things that has gone, and which I really am glad to have let go of. Because when I was working, I had constant, multiple obligations every day, meeting deadlines, all that stuff. It's stressful. So the kind of stress, I would say there's not no stress when you're traveling. It's just, it's different, and it feels more healthy.
Basically, the concept of recycling actually is there, because you're recycling everything, recycling the stress, you recycle the fear is still there, the stress is still there, and everything, but it's recycling. It's more natural. Is that what you want?
Yes, exactly. It's more natural. It's more to do with day-to-day kind of survival and essential needs, rather than perceived needs that we create in our complicated Western world.
What about the spiritual person you are building when you are on the road?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because that's probably the biggest part of this trip. I mean, there's obviously physical and practical challenges, but the spiritual growth is probably the biggest, the most prominent thing about this traveling, especially on your own, I think, or at least that's been my experience. So I have for a long time recognized the connection between emotions and well-being and health. And I guess, when you're challenged in a new place, when you're on your own, you've got to navigate new territory and new practicalities. It kind of, I don't know, for me anyway, it's thrown up sort of, fears and made me think about and reflect on, well, why is that hard for me? Why have I become stressed about this particular thing? That doesn't make sense, because there's always something going on inside that you perhaps have suppressed over years. So, and also, when you've got hours and hours on the bike on your own, you have a lot of time to think. I've taken the time to listen to podcasts and listen to audiobooks, and also read, in the evenings, and I've been reading and listening to a lot of sort of, spiritual growth, self-help, kind of emotional health type material. And so, yeah, it's kind of helped me to heal a lot of sort of suppressed emotional stuff that I hadn't really given myself time to process previously, stuff from, childhood trauma, all that kind of stuff. It's a great opportunity for that if that's what you want to do, which I do, because you've got lots of time, really, lots of space. Yeah.
Lots of time, plus the solitude and the silence.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you don't want to sort of get in touch with your own, what's going on inside you, that solitude and silence is very, very challenging.
Follow your instincts like animal. The more animal you are, the more human being you are, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right, because we are so, as a whole, most of us human beings are so disconnected from the animal side of us, the instinctual side of us, what's real inside of us. And we create sort of barriers and disconnect. And so when you have that space and the silence, it's an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, which can be very challenging. Because we don't always like what we find, but for me, I really want that opportunity to grow and to get more in touch with more connected with myself.
Can you accept other people cycling with you? Like adapt with other people eventually? Or you prefer not to share your space and your time with anybody else?
That's a really good question. When I first started, I would have said, no, I definitely don't want to cycle with anyone. But things have changed for me internally. And so when I got to sort of California, I started meeting up with more people and cycling, not necessarily all day with people, but meeting up with them at night. And then when I crossed into Mexico, there were 4 of us that decided to cross the border together. And I ended up staying with one of them and intermittently with 7 others, all through Baja. And that was very different for me. And I actually enjoyed it. I think what I recognized was I like both. I like being with other people and even sort of changing the way I cycle in order to be with people. I like that, but I also like my own company and to do my own thing. So I've decided that, a balance between the two is my preference. Yeah. If I have the choice, I like being with people some of the time. So, both.
What else you want to say for the global audience and for people that listen to you right now back in New Zealand or anywhere in the world?
Okay. Well, I guess it's just several people have said to me how my journey, especially as a solo woman, has been inspiring. And I know at least one person that has been inspired to actually go off traveling, not by bike, but when she was too afraid to do that. So I guess I'd just like to sort of say to people, I'm doing this because I want to. It's a dream, it's not without fears, as I've said, but I'd just like to encourage people to really recognize their dreams and know that maybe it's possible to follow their dreams, don't not do it just because it's uncomfortable, because the rewards are great.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported. Hello from the town of Frampton in southeastern Quebec, Canada. I'm Omar Diaz from Omar Global Media and delighted to speak with Diana Albrecht, a former ballet dancer now based in Florida, United States. Diana, do we carry on in Spanish or English? Up to you.
Sometimes I forget some words in Spanish, but I don't know, whatever.
What does the weather look like in Florida right now?
It is a beautiful day. I think it's in the 80s. We don't really get much fall weather here. Just the temperature, the humidity drops a little bit, and it looks great.
How far you are from the beach?
30 minutes driving.
Yeah, okay. So, and how far you are from the beach by bicycle?
Bicycle? No, it's impossible. I mean, not impossible, but it will take a while.
You are somewhere in Florida, but where exactly, if that's possible?
Tampa, Florida.
Oh, Tampa, okay.
Yeah, we're on the Gulf side.
You're born in the south of Paraguay, in Misiones department. And yourself, you born where, in Asunción?
I was born in Asunción, yeah.
The access to social media, especially TikTok, accelerate people's creativity in producing content. I see that you are pretty active over there. Do you have a TikTok?
I do, but I just started making reels and kind of trying my style. I'm not sure yet. I stopped dancing 2 years ago professionally. I danced for 30 years of my life, so I decided to do something else, and I stopped dancing professionally. But now I'm kind of like missing moving my body a little bit, so I'm just trying to do dance videos and things like that. And Reels and TikTok are very current right now. And so I just started making all types of videos. It's funny.
It sounds good. I mean, you are actually exploring what
I can do. And I also find it very relaxing because I also have my own business where I work with artisans all over the world, and I bring home decor and fashion accessories. And so I do everything in my business, and I just love having some time for myself, just to laugh, to let loose. And so I think Reels and TikTok have been a good relaxing experience, or a little bit of my day I dedicate to that, and it relaxes me. So that's what I like about it. So it helps explore your creativity too. So it's quite new for everybody just to come out of their shell and start doing things like that. It's kind of like revolutionary. Struggling with memory because I'm making so many videos. But I have my tablet that I use for work to do design, design my own pillows and products. And then I have my computer that I run my business, and my phone that I do all the videos.
Tell us a little bit about your American adventure.
So the first time I came to the U.S. was when I was 18 for a competition, for a dance competition, and it was to New York. And after that, I won a scholarship for the summer program, and I went to San Francisco, which is beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite cities. I mean, out of all the cities I've been here, it's beautiful. After that, I moved to Washington, D.C. to dance there for 6 years. And then after that, I went to Boston, and I lived there for 9 years. And at the same time, I was doing long distance with my boyfriend. So when I lived in Washington, he lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so I traveled there every weekend, or he would come to Washington, D.C. So I also I lived on the weekends in Philly. And then when I moved to Boston, he moved to Kansas City. And we did long distance flying every other week or every 2 weeks from Kansas City to Boston. And then he moved to Boston, and then after a few years, we moved to Tampa. We've been together for 13 years, so we started as teenagers, and now, we've been to many, many cities, and it's crazy what we did. Long distance for 7, 8 years, I think, something like that. And it was fun because at the same time, you got away during the weekend to change cities, and it was different. So we did it. We made it work.
Tell us about your experience in ballet and what you have learned from it for the rest of your life.
Well, yes. I feel like ballet trains you for life because there are so many challenges. If I knew that a career as a ballerina was going to be like this, I probably would have never been a ballet dancer. Especially here in the U.S., it's very competitive. I am a very nice person. I feel like I'm a nice person. But you have to kind of learn to defend yourself. In my case, many dancers come from all over the world at a very young age. We're very, we have no idea. We never worked before. Sometimes it's your first experience working in a different country, a different language, in a competitive setting, and then come the injuries, and then come, all the roles that maybe you might not get or you get. Then you have to deal with different personalities and the choreographers. Sometimes choreographers they look at you and they don't like you. Sometimes they just look at you and they love you. So it's very up in the air of like how things can go in your career. So you have to know how to adapt to the circumstances, how to maintain your body healthy, how to train your body so you don't get injured so much, and how to deal with like all the emotions that go through performing pieces and being extremely tired, working with your body nonstop from 8 to, sometimes performances end at 10 p.m. So it is you put a lot of sacrifice into this, and I think people don't know what exactly a ballet dancer world is, and that's why I say it just prepares you for life, because you see so much and you recover from so much that I feel like after you leave ballet, you're not afraid of anything. Like anything can come to you, and you can pass through that, and it will like train you for that. I had my mother passed away from cancer, so I had my mom. She was sick for half of my time, if not all my time in Boston. I was studying in Boston as well. I started at the university that I was studying from since I lived from when I left the ballet, that it was around 7 to 11 p.m. trying to do my papers and training in the morning. I had my mom sick at home. There was a lot happening, and then I got injured. There's just so much that goes into it, but you still have to put a smile on stage. You still have to look pretty and perfect, and that like just feel like nothing has happened and that you're the happiest person on earth. So, I feel like ballet really prepares you for anything. I mean, there are so many lessons that you learn from being in such a competitive world. One of them is just to maintain your focus, and you sometimes can get into the drama, into like who gets the role, who doesn't, who likes this choreographer likes this person, doesn't like you for no reason. Like I feel like you just have to focus on yourself, on better, making yourself better every day. That's why I was talking about enjoying the small victories every day as well, because if you get distracted into what is happening around you, you're not gonna make it. So it is very important just to keep grounded, focus on your work, on yourself, and investing on yourself too, because after ballet, there are opportunities that can come from ballet, but you also have to be ready for, if you get injured and you can't work with your body after ballet, for example, you have to have a plan B, and you have to love it, because if you don't love it, it's going to become a suffering, and you're not going to, you're going to be unhappy. You do it because you have that adrenaline from the stage. You do it because you, in my personal case, is, like surprising myself, being like, okay, oh my God, I'm here. I got into this company. Oh, I got promoted. I got this role. I can do this step now. 5 years, I couldn't do it. Things like that, like just make you, inspire, motivated. That's why I say if you focus on yourself, then you can, be happy with your daily successes, and there is a lot happening, but I feel like that happens in any job. You have your good things and your bad things as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for contacting me, Omar, and wish you the best always.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported. How are you relaxing now? You're comfortable?
I'm relaxing in the front seat of my truck with my dogs, watching TV.
Oh, okay. What are you watching now, right now?
A British show called Silk.
Oh, okay. What is about? What's like?
Lawyers.
Oh.
Courtroom drama.
Oh, okay. Like Dr. Phil, kind of?
I know, more like Perry Mason.
Oh, okay. So, Anita, good to talk to you, eh?
Hello. So what would you like to know?
Well, I want to know what you see right now. The horizon, what you see right now.
Right now I see a desert landscape with a few trees and mountains in the background, one shaped like Abraham Lincoln on his back, and about 20 campers.
Okay, so, but the closest camper is like our friend Gary, eh? Gary is not too far from you, eh?
He's about 40 feet away.
Tell me about your dogs. You say you have 3 dogs, eh?
They're all Chihuahua mixes. And my 2 older dogs, I was a travel nurse, and they traveled with me. We just recently got the 3rd one. I found her, Gary found her, and she was starving. So I took her.
Okay. So how she is feeling now?
She's happy and gets regular meals, so she's very happy.
Wonderful. So she is, along with other dogs, nice, fine? That's no problem with other dogs?
My dogs accepted her right away. There's a lot of dogs here.
So, Anita, how important is for you to have dogs around you?
Very important. I get my exercise, and I'm a retired nurse, so I always have to have something to take care of to be happy.
Plus, the security, eh? It's important to have dogs for security issues, eh? What do you think?
Me personally, no. I'm a former visiting nurse from Detroit, and I would visit the bad neighborhoods of the city alone at night. I never felt I needed protection. I can defend myself.
Did you, back in Detroit, did you actually have some really tough situation?
I've witnessed 2 murders, 4 bank robberies, and at least a dozen party store / convenience store gas station robberies. Happened a lot.
Talking about bullets, I mean, somebody fired to you?
Oh, I've had a gun pulled on me. I've had a knife pulled on me. I've been threatened with a baseball bat. I was a former ER nurse in Detroit, so it takes a lot to scare me.
So now you find a peace and harmony with the nature over there in the desert, huh?
Yes, very much. It's the freedom I like.
You are located in what exactly we talking about?
I'm currently spending the winter in Quartzsite, Arizona at La Posa South, where you can stay for 7 months for under $200. It has amenities such as garbage, toilets, water, dump, and that's what most of the people here are, retired and looking for a place to go for the winter, such as myself.
Okay, so you say $200 for the entire season, like for the 7 months, or you have to pay every month that $200?
$180 for April 15 through September 15, and it includes all the amenities. Having a place to throw your trash out is a very good thing here.
So for $180, you actually have pay 7 months or 6 months, or something like that.
Right. Very cost effective.
Very comfortable and very cheap. I mean, if you have the amenities, like you got everything what you need over there, very simple life. What does your life look like right now compared to before?
Oh, I made a lot of money. I was a travel nurse, so they would accommodate me in some nice hotels or a furnished apartment. Money was never a problem. I mean, I got benefits, got to see new people every 3 to 6 months, traveled the country. I liked it. You get burned out, and I finally got burned out, so I took my retirement early.
So you are actually prepare yourself for any situation in terms of emergency, for example. You're a nurse, you know what to do, eh?
I'm very good in a crisis. It takes a lot to scare me. I'm very fortunate that way. But nurses training teaches you that.
What is your day look like every day, kind of like regular day, for example?
Well, I can now watch television, which I had a career never, so I watch movies on my telephone or TV series, and I go to bed anywhere from 9 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning whenever I feel like it. But I do work as a volunteer here at the campground on Saturdays and Sundays, just to stay active, have some place to go for my mental health.
What is the task that you do every weekend for volunteer work?
We issue the permits to the park and explain the amenities and services that are available.
So how you like your
people?
Yeah, how you like your volunteer work over there in the desert?
I love my volunteer work. I look forward to it every weekend, and I can take my dogs to work with me.
Anita, what else you like in life? For example, apart that volunteer work and right now, what else is your passion?
Frankly, my passion is to do a lot of nothing. If I don't feel like doing my dishes, I don't do my dishes. If I don't feel like making my bed, I don't make my bed. That's the part of retirement I look forward to and I am enjoying.
Wonderful. What type of music you like?
I am not a music person. I listen to the radio when I'm driving in the car, but I've never been a music fan. I've always been a television fan.
Okay, so when you driving at night, for example, and you put a radio, what radio station you listen like? What?
I love our local radio station because it's all oldies from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. My era. I like it very much.
Do you think your life is like a movie?
Well, they did make a movie about nomads. Came out last year. It was pretty accurate. A lot of Hollywood in it, but like the gal in the movie, she says, I'm not homeless, I'm just houseless. I don't ever care to own a house again. I don't ever care to live in a sticks and bricks again. Because I know when I become ill, I'm going to lose my dogs and go to a nursing home. So in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my freedom.
I mean, you are now in California and no in Arizona, but what is your plan for the next season? You're going to move away somewhere?
No, this summer I plan to go up into the mountains when it gets really hot. And then I'm going to slowly work my way up to the Flagstaff area to the mountains and stay on the forestry. And then close to September, I'll start working my way back down the mountain.
Pretty much take it easy for yourself. I mean, you take care about your life.
Yeah, I had to care about, so I raised my family. I took care of my parents. Neither of my parents went to a nursing home. I took care of everybody. Now I just want to take care of me and focus on me. I've never been able to focus on me. I always had to be somewhere, do something. Something was expected of me. I don't have to do that anymore.
Sometimes people who living in your location in the desert, sometimes you got together and organize something like barbecue or something like that.
I have very good neighbors where I am. I've been here for 4 months now, and we've created a tribe. We're like a big family. We share food. We cook for each other. We have campfires and grill burgers and hot dogs. We keep an eye out for each other and take care of each other.
That sounds wonderful. What is the description like, what you can actually provide right now about your home, the camper that you are in now? What does it look like?
My home was a 6x12 cargo trailer. I had put in a twin-size Murphy bed so I can have storage underneath. I have kitchen cabinets in the front nose where I've created a kitchen with a butane camp stove and microwave because I do have a generator. And that's what I sleep and cook in. It's very comfortable.
4 months over there, and what you did before? You was already on the camp lifestyle, or it was a different lifestyle?
I always lived in very nice apartment complexes. I always had a lot of money. I could buy whatever food I wanted. I could dine out. I could buy anything I wanted when I wanted it. But I don't have those needs any longer because I chose this lifestyle. I've been planning this lifestyle for several years. I saw it on YouTube. I retired in August and started living in the trailer in September. But like I said, I've been planning this for several years. Originally, I had a very nice custom cargo trailer, but unfortunately, I had it parked at a friend's house and their home burned down and took my trailer with it. But I already owned a smaller trailer because I'm being a travel nurse, and I decided, well, I'm not going to do another custom trailer. I'll just make do with the one I already have, and it's worked out fine.
You are exactly where you want to be, and that is the most important right now, eh? After 4 months of experience at this lifestyle. Huh?
Yeah, the first person I met was Gary. And we've been friends ever since. And we've all got my neighbors here. We have created a family. We all plan to be in this general area every winter so we can all be together again. I've made some very good lifetime friends. When you're a travel nurse, you don't have time to make friends. I've made more friends here in 4.5 months than I have the last 30 years of my life.
So that is the freedom that you're actually experiencing. Eh? Do you want to recommend this lifestyle to some people, not to everybody, of course, but to some people that want to be aware of what happened, whatever?
Well, if you can put aside your need for worldly possessions, you don't mind living a completely opposite lifestyle so you can enjoy your freedom. Poverty is a big portion of making this commitment. Are you willing to be poor? But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Being able to just be in the sunshine all the time is lovely. Rather than Michigan where it's ice and snow.
So what is the temperature right now and the time? What time is it there right now, please?
It's 11:41 and the temperature is 68 degrees with sunshine and a mild breeze. It's the desert. There's always a breeze.
68 degrees means in Celsius because we have Celsius over here in Canada. What is the like 16 degrees maybe? I don't know. But anyways.
Well, while we're talking, I'll look it up. Oh, let's see. Fahrenheit. Let's see here. Fahrenheit. 68. It is 20 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah, with sunshine. It's supposed to get about 4 degrees warmer today.
Because here is 1:43 right now.
Yeah, you're in Eastern time.
Yeah, Eastern time, and the temperature is not too bad. I was working outside today, and it snowed, and it's about -5. So today is okay. It's good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not for that area. I am from Detroit, so Canada is right there on the border. I've been all through Canada.
Oh,
I've been to Quebec several times because my first husband is a professional drag racer.
so you went to Montreal and you went to Quebec City as well?
Oh, yes, I've been all through there. I've been well-traveled in my life. I've been to Europe twice. I've been all through Mexico. I've been to every state in the United States, for the continental United States. I've been in each state more than once in my lifetime. So there was no place I needed to go or needed to see anymore. I've seen what I wanted to see.
You went to Europe like twice. Where and what condition? You went to like vacation and where?
While I was still in college and young, I went to Europe for the summer and took a tour. I hit like 7 countries and 3 principalities. I started in Paris and ended in London. When I went back again, my girls were graduating high school, and I took them to Italy for their spring break. They loved it.
So, Anita, I congratulate you for your choice to choose this lifestyle. Now it's 4 months, and so far so good. I feel like you are happy, and what you do or what you are right now, that make me happy too. Eh?
No, thank you. Most of my friends feel that I'm crazy doing this because they feel I gave up so much. And I didn't give it up. I gave it away because I didn't want the responsibility of owning so much stuff and spending so much money on useless things. I only spend money on my needs, and I'm just as happy not owning everything. You appreciate things more.
Exactly. You appreciate when you're traveling and you're living like this, everything is a gratitude, always. And that is a wonderful feeling. Huh?
I think so, because when your needs get met, and it's the next month, and you just live through another month, and you did fine, there's a lot of self-satisfaction in knowing you didn't waste your money and you didn't waste your time, and here we go again. Here goes another month.
And plus,
I'm trying to support 2 dogs, which I'm doing, which is very difficult right now, because I did not plan in my budget to have another dog, but Gary found her, and she literally was starving, and I just couldn't leave her with her current owners. So right now I'm struggling to figure out how to pay for the dog.
You know, here in Canada, there's plenty of places where you can get food for free. So a certain location you go and you put it on. I mean, I don't know if around you there are locations where you can have it like not too far from where you are, like food for free, and sometimes even food for.
There's a pantry here. It's open on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They are so generous. I didn't even go last week, and now my neighbors and I, we alternate weeks that we go because they give you so much food. We share it.
Exactly.
Sometimes we move food together with all the food we're given, and it's very generous. We always get beans and rice, so you have a protein, but we've had a lot of nice vegetables the last 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Even eggplant.
Yeah, exactly. There are some places where you can go and have that experience, people sharing. And then when you're traveling and then you live in this kind of lifestyle, you find that people are very generous, actually. Yeah? Then you kind of change the perspective that you have and the perception that you have from the human being. Eh?
All I know is this lifestyle suits me quite well because the generosity of others, I feel safe, I don't feel neglected, and I know someone would help me if there was a time of need. I'm very comfortable.
Okay, perfect. Anita, thank you very much. Have a good time.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported.
I was born in Argentina, in Patagonia, and I lived in Patagonia, a city called Neuquén, which is a province also called Neuquén. The capital city is the same as the province, which is against the Chilean border at the north part of Patagonia. So it kind of borders on La Pampa. I grew up in Rio Negro, which is the province. We used to have an apple festival every year, where you could sample all these different apples and buy apple preserves and juices. And there was they crowned an apple queen, and they used to have a big carrozas. And so I was 2 hours east of Bariloche, a town called General Roca. I've been in Canada going on 42 years in July. and I'm a musician. I sing professionally. I'm a sort of a classically trained musician, even though I grew up, like all of us do in Latin America, with a guitar, strumming, and singing folk music. But I've done choral music all my life, and I sing professionally with the Vancouver Chamber Choir. And then I teach singing quite a bit, and I do as much solo work as I can. Vancouver, as beautiful as it is, it's kind of a small town for how many musicians are here. So it's almost a little bit difficult sometimes to find the gigs because there's a lot of quote unquote competition. But I do that, and then I conduct. I have a degree in conducting, choral conducting from the University of Cincinnati, the Conservatory of Music there. And so that's what I do. I kind of meal piece, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I teach, I do clinics, I lead choirs, I do solo work. That's basically sort of my job. And then when I'm not working, I'm in the garden. I love to grow vegetables and just putter around the garden. And lately I kind of took up painting. I've been wanting to do that all my life, but I convinced myself that I couldn't draw, so that sort of kept me away from painting. But I come from a very sort of creative family. My mother and her mother and aunt, they were all incredibly creative, painting and arts and crafts, and so I've sort of been around that kind of creativity all my life. And just last year, I finally decided I really wanted to do something. So I started doing these dot mandala things, where you don't have to draw. You're just creating patterns with dots of different sizes on a canvas or a piece of wood or anything. And then I started using watercolors, and so I'm learning to paint with watercolors. So that's kind of in a nutshell what my life is sort of like these days. People have been really great and appreciating what I do, and it's great. I mean, I'm kind of sharing my journey because I really just started, and basically I'm copying. I go to YouTube and I follow people who show how they do it, and I try to follow and do what they do. So yeah, so far it's been, some things don't turn out and kind of end up in the garbage, and other things turn out really well. But the thing about watercolors is that they're very, very hard to control. With acrylics, basically the paint that you see, the color that you see is what you get. There's, you just paint with that, and that's the color, and it's okay. But watercolors are very, very subtle, and you kind of have to learn to control the water and how much water, how much paint. So you can imagine the variables there, right? So there's a whole range of how much water you use depending on the effect that you want, how much paint, and I usually started with way too much paint. The nice thing about watercolors is that you can be so subtle and create these really nice, subtle, and sort of fuzzy effects. And then the kind of paper is really important. And I was just reading that paper, the paper, good quality paper, is really, really crucial. So, there's a lot of opportunity for going really wrong with it, So it's a steep learning curve. It was the same thing with my, with the mandalas, right? People started asking if I was selling, and I even had a couple of commissions, So I even set up an Etsy shop, and I figured, oh yeah, I will sell these things, and I probably could, but since I'm not doing it full time, right? I'm not sort of dedicating a lot of time to putting it out there and marketing and stuff. And then I sort of let it go for a bit while I started working on watercolors. And, as I do more and learn and sort of feel more comfortable with it, I probably will sell some stuff because, I have seen what's selling, and occasionally it's like, well, mine's kind of nicer than that for every style. No, I'm not. I left the church a long time ago. I think it might have been, well, at least 12 years now, maybe 2010 or something like that. Yeah, I worked in the church for many years, and it's a great place for musicians, especially like coming up and sort of, it's a great training place for young musicians, the church, and it's a good job. It's sort of consistent work, and you're always making music and learning new things. Anyway, but I did enough of that, and I decided I was done with those Sunday morning commitments. So I left the church and have been basically doing, well, freelancing, teaching, singing. It has its drawbacks, right? Because when you're freelance, you always have to hustle and try and find work and gigs. But, at the other end, you own your time and you do whatever you want. And if you want to leave, you leave. And you cancel your lessons or move your lessons, On the other hand, you don't get paid, So when you go on a trip, you basically kind of almost losing twice in a way, right? You have to pay for your expenses, but then there's no income. So there are drawbacks. But so far, I've been doing this for, well, as long as I've been in Vancouver, which is about 27 years. I can't believe it's been that long. I remember coming here after I graduated from Cincinnati, and I've managed to make a living and pay my rent and have some money to play around a little bit. So far, so good. I managed to make it work.
Living in other places like Toronto, Montreal.
No, too big for me. Too big and busy and dirty and loud. I mean, I've visited. I've been to Toronto many times, and I've friends there, but I don't think I could live there. I find it too big. Even though as a musician, it's a much better place than Vancouver because there's a lot more opportunity. But I like I think I'm a kind of a country girl at heart. I like the slower lifestyle. I like nature, even though I don't go out there a lot. I'm not a hiker. I'm not a biker. I don't ski. But I love all the fauna, the flora. I love the trees and like Vancouver. How beautiful it is, and walking on the dike, and there's lots of beautiful places in Toronto also, but I don't like the big city, basically, And actually, we're entertaining the idea of leaving Vancouver within the next 5 years or so. I mean, we're in the middle of the forest here, wherever you go, right? And then, there's so many. Like I said, I love it, but I don't do a lot of it, even though there's tons of places to go and walks and rivers and lakes and mountains and the dike and right. But I don't know. I suppose it's the energy of the place with all that around. It kind of changes sort of the feeling of a place. Whereas here it feels very nature based. When you go east, even Toronto, or even Calgary, it just feels so much more like. Well, Calgary not so much, but Toronto, it's more like it just feels more like a city. More like a concrete place. It has a different aura to it. It's hard to paint the trees and plants and lots of green because, everything looks different and has a different look about it. But that's the other, it doesn't have to be realist, right? It could also be sort of, not abstract. I'm not kind of an abstract person. I'm not at all an abstract person. But it doesn't have to be, I imagine, it doesn't have to look like a picture. But yeah, I'll give it a try. I'll go and find, there's so many nice corners. I'll go and find a nice corner or, a view and yeah, I'd love to have a project. I'm usually looking at pictures that I've taken or videos and sort of coming up with my next project. And right now I'm working on a mandala, so I don't have a watercolor project, so I'll do that. Yeah, that would be great. I've been to Japan twice, actually. See, that's one of the things about singing with the Vancouver Chamber Choir. I mean, there used to be a lot more money for travel, and the Chamber Choir used to tour a lot. The choir, sort of as an organization, went all over the world. By the time I joined, I missed some of the big tours through Europe, but I went to Taiwan twice. I've been to Japan twice. We've been to Mexico. That's one nice thing. And next year, there's a tour planned of Finland. We have a new conductor, a new artistic director, and he's from Finland. And he's planning a tour to Finland, so I'm excited about that. I got close. I've been to Estonia. That's something else. Yeah, when I lived in Cincinnati, I had a church job there as a singer, and they did a tour of the Baltic states, and they had a little bit of money, so they paid for the section leaders. You know, my job was to sing in the alto section and lead the section, and so I got paid for that. And when they decided to do a tour of the Baltic states, they actually paid my way there and a few of the other singers, which was wonderful. So I went to Estonia, I went to Latvia, we went to St. Petersburg, went to Stockholm and to Copenhagen. So, yeah, I've had some really beautiful experience because I was in a choir, you know.
How about Amsterdam?
You know, I've been to Amsterdam just flying through on my way somewhere, and we had like a 6-hour layover at the airport, so we went into town. We took the train, my sister and I.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported.
I started seeing peregrine falcons flying around the campus in 2007. And it occurred to me, I saw them sitting on the water tower and on a small window ledge in the water tower near the top. And it occurred to me that perhaps with a bit of encouragement that they might breed there, because it's quite a high spot. They have a good view of the landscape. They can see and launch themselves upon unsuspecting pigeons and starlings and so on. And so I got permission to take some wood up the internal staircase, and we built the box up there and then installed it. It was quite a job to do that. Then we put in a small webcam, which we borrowed to have a look and see what was happening. And for the first year, the birds used the box, but they didn't breed. They just used it to eat and to rest and so on. And then the following year, they had a very late breeding season, and we had one chick. We then had another year with 3 chicks, and then we realized the box was too small. So we got rid of that box and reconstructed it and got this monster box up there, which was quite scary. And then, so since then, we've had, I think, over 20 successful fledglings. The equipment has been upgraded. We now have, in fact, 4 different cameras, 3 pointing inside the box, and we have a new one from last year, which is outside and looking at the outside of the tower, so we can see what they do when they're not in the box, at least to a certain extent. So that's all going very well. A few years ago now, we were able to link it through YouTube, and then the YouTube also has a chat function. During the last week, we've had over 1,000 people watching at any one time. So it's quite busy. I have 6 moderators who help me with the chat. They're scattered all over the world. I have some in Scotland, Netherlands, USA, Australia, to answer questions and make sure the conversation keeps on track, and so on. And so that's where we are now. My main function, and the reason I wanted to do this, was because I was interested in studying the behavior. So my research it's basically in 3 strands. I'm looking at the breeding behavior from August to November, December, looking at how much the parental effort each of the bird makes. How much time does the male incubate? How much time does the female incubate? Those sort of questions. Who feeds the babies? Who does what, when? I'm then also interested in their behavior for the rest of the year. This project goes right through the year and right through the night as well. And it's the only one in Australia that does that. There is one in Melbourne, but they only cover the breeding season. So I'm interested in when they start courting. When they start courting, they bring... the male will bring a prey item to the female, and then sometimes he forgets he's supposed to hand it over and grabs it back off her. But every year he learns and he improves. And then the third strand is the diet. What are they eating? Is it mainly introduced species? Is it native species? Who catches what? It's been observed that the males, on average, will catch smaller items than the female. And so I guess that's about it. I'm currently working on the first paper on the breeding biology, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through that, I think. I hope to finish the 3 papers by May. That's my plan.
How different is this family from others?
Well, I'll be honest. It's been, as I say, we've had families every year since 2008. In a couple of those years, we had no chicks. In one year, we had 3 eggs, but they all broke before hatching, and so we lost the year. And then in another year, we only had 1 chick, and that chick was blown out of the box prior to fledging in a thunderstorm. And there was a 3rd year when we did have a fledging. This was last year, in fact. But the chick didn't survive in the wild. It lasted about a week, and then we had a week of extremely bad weather, thunderstorms. We've been badly affected by La Nina, which is a weather phenomenon where the Pacific Ocean warms up and we get a lot of extra moisture in Australia. And that's what happened the last 3 years. We had very poor weather in November, lots of thunderstorms. So this year we had the 2 chicks, and that's quite normal, except that they were a long way apart. The eggs usually hatch within a day or 2 of each other, but this year they were nearly 5 days apart. In fact, we didn't think that the second egg would hatch. We thought we would just have the one chick, but it did hatch, and the chick is fine. He's developing a little bit more slowly than his brother, but he's getting there, and I don't have any worries for him. I'm not really a worrier anyway. I'm more of a researcher and observer. It is what it is, you know. But yes, no, he's doing fine, and I expect him to take off to fledge, which is the first flight, is what it means, within a week, and then the other one will go out. The other one has already fledged, of course. But for some reason or other, he's decided to come back to the box, which does happen. It's not that unusual. But what is unusual is that he hasn't actually left again. He's stayed in the box for over 2 nights now, and that is a little bit unusual. I don't know whether that's because his little brother is there and he wants to be with his little brother, and he knows that's where the food is. He might just be a little bit lazy, and we need to get him out again. What the parents will do, of course, is if he's a bit slow. And in fact, we've already seen that this morning. I made a video this morning of the male hovering outside the box as if he was trying to persuade the young one to come out. And they will do that. If the chicks are a bit reluctant to leave home, they'll fly past with nice-looking prey and say, "Come on, if you want breakfast, you're going to have to follow me."
Increasing the number of people watching this event and became kind of popular now on YouTube, eh?
It's very popular. One of the videos I made of the first flight of Indigo, I was looking in there this morning, I was looking at some of the comments, and I noticed that one of the videos had 18,000 views, which is really quite amazing because there aren't even that many subscribers. So it is very popular. We try and keep it sort of informal and chatty, but also educational, which is quite tricky because you get people come in who sometimes want to be, stir up a bit of trouble. They like a bit of drama. They don't want to see things going smoothly. We have to be careful that the chat doesn't get out of control, because we have school children who watch. There's a whole class that contacted me, but were in Texas, and they were watching with their children. The teacher contacted me. So we need to be careful that the language is appropriate and so on.
Human being like myself, yourself, everybody, what we can learn from those from this event? What is the?
I don't understand. Sorry.
Well, you never.
I don't know. I don't think that you can really draw parallels between peregrine falcons, who are predators. They're the top of the food chain. They are quite aggressive. They're not. The siblings get on well together, but I'm not sure quite what you mean. You can't really make parallel similarities between peregrines and human beings. Are you suggesting that people should learn from the peregrines to live a more natural life? I'm not quite sure.
Something like that. It's maybe it's bizarre, my question, but something like that. Yeah.
It's more. I think it's more that we want people to understand and to appreciate nature. For its own intrinsic value, not so much that they can draw parallels on behaviour, because it is a very different type of animal, a peregrine falcon. It's they're very solitary. For instance, you don't see the parents don't hang about together. They when they sit on the top of that tower that you can see in the picture, they sit right at the opposite ends of the tower. They never sit close together. They're very solitary creatures. The people that watch the peregrines, they say things like, "Oh, look, it's brotherly love," and this sort of thing. And it's probably not true. It's probably more that they're there together in the box because that's where the food is, So one needs to be a little bit careful of that. What we call it anthropomorphism, where you try and put human qualities onto wild animals. And I don't really think there's much point in doing that, to be honest. That's my opinion.
Your contribution is in the research area. You are a scientist.
My PhD was actually in something a bit different. It was to do with birds. It was to do with the restoration on farms for wildlife habitat. So how when farmers put in shelter belts and windbreaks and so on, and I spent a lot of time studying different designs of these revegetation schemes to see how they would benefit wildlife. And so the study of peregrine falcons sort of fell in my lap a bit. It wasn't something I was planning to do, but it is so I'm more of an ecologist than I am a biologist. But I do find it very interesting, and they are fun to watch. I mean, it's very entertaining watching the birds and their interactions with each other, and I get a lot of help. I mean, I'm actually an adjunct lecturer, so I'm no longer paid by the university. In fact, nobody involved with this project is paid. Everybody is a volunteer, except the people who help me with the IT. They work for the university, but everybody else who actually works on this project is unpaid, but we still need funding, because we have to upgrade the equipment, computing equipment and camera equipment and so on. So we do accept donations through the website, and the website is a fountain of information. It's worth telling your readers or listeners, I should say, to have a look at it. It's called the Falcon Cam Project, CSU, Charles Sturt University, and it's goes back, has a lot of history and interesting information in it. Lots of nice pictures too.
Did any media, they call you or they want to know what's going on over there? Or?
I have quite a lot to do with the local paper and the local ABC, which is our national Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and a few other commercial channels. I don't rouse up a lot of national interest. That's probably just because I'm not particularly interested in doing a lot of media. I probably could if I wanted to. We were on national TV once or a couple of times. But yeah, there's a bit of interest, especially when something happens, when I should actually do something about the fact that the birds are out and about now. But I have to be careful. I don't actually want people to come up and see the birds at the moment because they could be attacked. Peregrine falcons are very protective of their young. And it's actually interesting at the moment because our university, I don't know whether you've read our local news, probably not, but Australia is having terrible floods at the moment. And the flooding is actually quite close to Orange. There's a town only 50 kilometers away, which is pretty much underwater. And a lot of the people that live there have actually become homeless, and the university is hosting them. So there's quite a lot of people walking about, and I have to give them a warning to be careful. There are certain areas they shouldn't go in case the peregrine mother decides to have a go at them. If the babies are actually in the box at the moment, so they're fine, but they'll come out very soon, probably even before this weekend. And then the people need to be very careful walking about. Even I do. I duck from tree to tree when I'm chasing them.
Finally, can you say something to the global audience, like advice for I don't know, in the chat room, how to behave?
Well, it would be lovely if people come and watch the YouTube live stream, and particularly to join in the chat and ask questions. And then if they want more information, they can head up to the website, which is very, very informative. And people can also contact me directly. I'm happy to get email. My email address is actually on the bottom of the information below the live stream. And yes, come and join us. And this season is nearly finished, but we actually don't close. We keep going. The birds themselves will be here almost every day until the next breeding season because they don't migrate here. They're resident. And they need to protect their home. This is the concrete Hilton. It's a very posh home for peregrines. It's the best real estate for them in kilometers. So they protect it very closely.
Okay.
So goodbye and thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported. Hey, John.
Hi.
What's up?
Fine. What about you? What about you?
I'm fine too. We are recording now, so everything is even the ring to you or whatever is recording, and everything going to be edited and go forward. You know.
Oh, okay. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I wanna congratulate you for your 20,000 milestone number. You got it, Toyota. Eh?
Yes, and I feel that it's an achievement that we both have achieved because you were the one who told me about TikTok, and you told me, yeah, this could be interesting for writers as well. And I said, well, I'm going to try something. And it has been an amazing surprise because each and every Sunday I have like a commitment to create something new, many times something different, not just reading a thought or a poem or whatever, but also trying to surprise, because TikTok can be an amazing tool for surprise. That's why I am very grateful to you, because I thought the concept I had about TikTok was quite misleading, because I thought it was just teenagers dancing, and it is not. It is like a whole world of creativity and creative people, talented people trying to show what they prefer to show, which is interesting.
Yeah, social media in general became a really interesting situation, even talking about in general, like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know about Facebook. I'm not used too much, but I'm not too enthusiastic about that. social media platform. But as you said, TikTok became a wide range of opportunities and surprises, and in terms of, sometimes you see, oh, it doesn't make sense to actually keep going because it's too much effort to send to the people a following, and then you're expecting a followers or whatever, but then you change the strategy and you got it. But reaching 20,000 followers, organic followers, are a really a remarkable achievement. And I was managed to see your progress through the month that we start talking about this platform, and then you was behind like 2,000 followers behind me, and then suddenly you reach me and you overpassed me. And so that was so funny because I said, wow, he actually learning how to do it. And probably this strategy that you use for making this such a remarkable progress is as a secret. It's something that I don't know how to do it, but anyways, I was busy as well building up my Instagram account, and in general I'm satisfied with my things by my part. But actually we're talking about you because I see that your contents are completely original. You build up a network of followers and people who are loyal with your content and with you consequently, and that made me really happy. I'm really happy with you.
Yes, the thing is that it has been a weekly learning or teaching or whatever, because every week I have tried to create something. I have recorded different videos, especially when I fail. I explain. When I go to run, many times in the winter, I have been like, I usually go running to run, and many times I don't go back running. That's exactly the time for creativity. That's when I go to a place with an amazing view, and I say, wow, I had to share this with a sentence or thought or something. And many times it was just saying thank you to all the people who follow me. And a lot of people have told me that they love something so simple, because simplicity in creativity can be the most difficult thing to achieve. And I have tried different things. I started with commercial music, and then I realized I wanted to use one song that I love, and it was rejected by the system. Okay, I will have to use my own music. And I am not a musician at all. I am a terrible musician. I just do some kind of things that are similar to music. And these are the things that I usually employ every Sunday. And with the 20K achievements, I am so grateful that on April 10, this is not tomorrow, but next Sunday, I am preparing a gift for all the people who want to enjoy the gift, which is going to be in Spanish, in Portuguese, and in English. So that's something that I have learned. If you are global, you have to use many different languages. In my thoughts, the thoughts I share, I usually use my mother tongue, which is Spanish, and then a translation in Portuguese and in English. And only for these three languages, I can reach almost half of the world, which is amazing. And that's something I love about TikTok, is that this is a really global audience. If you know how to do it, because it's not easy, but I try to make short videos with a short idea, something simple, and translate it into the three languages that I say. And I was trying to make my wish of peace several weeks ago, and I introduced a thought also in Ukrainian language and in Russian to spread my wish of peace for all the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, John, this is the first time actually we engage in English. Our mother tongue, as you said, is Spanish. You're mine as well. And I am here in the southern Quebec, and you are somewhere in the west, southwest of Spain, like not far from the Portugal-Spain border. And so we are today on the 4th of, it's the 2nd day of April. And we are talking about TikTok. And but I see your Instagram actually is growing up as well. And you are publishing some pictures from your experience in New York back in like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yes, my Instagram is like almost newer, something as new as TikTok, in fact. I started in July 1st last year, 2021, and the thing is that I started to think about how to do this. And I have published many books about photo thoughts, and also books about my thoughts or my sentences. And then I realized this is what I can do best in Instagram. And I started sharing one photo thought a day since July 1st. And then I think it was 1 or 2 months later, I started with a photo thought a day in English. So I have Juan Navidad Escritor in Spanish and John Navidad Writer in English. These are my two. It's different from TikTok because I have 2 different accounts. And the thing is that when I complete the whole year, I am trying to create a book in Spanish and then in the same book in English with the photos and the thoughts. They are from my different trips in Spain and also in the United States. And I think they can be interesting because if you see the photo, you can say, okay, I like the photo, or not. You can say, but this is just a simple photo. But the most important thing is that photo has something that life has taught me. That's the teaching, the learning of life, and that's something that I think is more, for me, is more valuable or powerful. The message of the text and the photo is like something that helps understand the text, which is very interesting. Which is for me is something that I have been doing for many years. And Instagram is interesting. I don't have many followers yet, but for me it's like a step-by-step project. I love it as well.
Yeah, Instagram offer different perspective. Also has a different condition. It's not like easy as. In other words, Instagram make you more difficult to follow people in order to get followers and stuff. That in exchange of situation can block you. I'm presently blocked maybe for the 20 times now from Instagram. They block you for like 1 week. You can't do anything just because you surpass the, I don't know, you follow too much people and they think you are a machine or something. So it's really, really tricky. It's not like TikTok where you are, almost completely free to develop some followers list and numbers and stuff. So, well, I want to say that I will send you one account that I discovered this morning. This account from TikTok. There's a lady who working in her garden and with her chicken and so it's very very simple content, but have a lot of likes and oh man, this kind of content actually is, and I want to share with you this account because what I do for my part is like I go into and I post this lady and I just follow people who like the videos of this specific post, for example, and they are all from, I think, from Indonesia or from somewhere in the Southeast Asia, you know. And saying this as like anything you do with original content, people like it, you know, and remarkable those simple stuff that what you do, actually people like that. It's an experiment. It's a social and cultural experiment.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about something about the problems I find usually in Instagram is that many things are not allowed. You want to share a link, you want to do different things. The audios when you are trying to talk with someone in a private message are very short, like a 1 minute. This is like full of problems, of limitation. Instagram could be much more than that. And concerning the use people do about Instagram, maybe a lot of people are too selfish. I mean, I am here just to see a lot of people around liking what I share. And that kind of people is, for me, it's like something I try to avoid. I don't want that. The social network that I use more is, as you know, is Facebook. I select people. I don't want that kind of people who don't have any interest in whatever I do. I try to concentrate on the people that can be exactly as I am, with no selfish attitudes, with no problems with ego. And Instagram has these two things: the limitations and also the use of people. Sometimes is like too high for me. I am a down to earth person, and I prefer people like with my attitude towards life. And there are a lot of people, simple people, humble people, honest people, creative people around the world, and I love that kind of people. I try to concentrate on them, because I think we can change the world. We can do a lot of things if we know how to share, how to find people, help each other with no importance, with no problems with selfishness. It's something that I dislike a lot. I have organized more than 50 events in New York, and I always said I want to find the two kind of talent people, the two kind of talented people that I love. One is the people with a creative talent, and the people with a human talent. That's what I have always been searching for. That's what I prefer, not any ego or people with that kind of problems. I don't spend a minute of my life with them, because sometimes they can be nasty, and they don't know it. They don't realize. Internet is an amazing world in which you can find amazing people.
Exactly. You know, in all social media there is basically account that promoting the self confidence, and then through that the people actually going to as you say, the super ego stuff. But that is happening all over the social media, and as you said, internet, you can find the best and the worst of the human condition. um, the best is, as you said, search and find the capacity, the way that you actually could filter and choose your own niche, your own global perspective, personal perspective, and engage with them. So, yeah, that is completely fine. And but anyways, Instagram is the same thing as with all the limitations. And Instagram actually is owned by Meta, and Meta is the owner of Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram. So the same owner. So, and what else you can say now for the global audience that we are recording this audio, John? For people, I don't know, you want to send a message in terms of your what you think about the social media and everything, final words and stuff?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to all the people who know how to honor my most favorite word on earth, which is sharing. If you share what you do, if you do it with passion, if you share what you know, it can be amazing. If you just hide whatever you know, you hide the best people. The best thing we can do is sharing. I have many people who are very interesting and they don't know each other. I connect them. Connect people. We are the most important thing on earth is people. Not money, not luxury, not that fast car that you have, an amazing home. It's people. If we know how to develop a world in which we share the best we know and also the best people around us, we are going to improve the world with that. So try to honor that we are important, and at the same time we all are important. I don't care who you are important for me. I don't like the people who can play with you or with me and then forget about you and forget about me. We have to be important people for all the people.
Yeah, well, and then at that point, we we need to be realistic as well. As Instagram and TikTok offered, you can follow people up to 10,000. You can't follow more than that. And if you have 20,000, obviously you delete from your list of engagement like 10,000. So, in other words, the platform limitation make us to choose who to follow and who to. I don't think the terminology exclude or delete is the right, because by the end of the day you are actually engaged with people. People follow you and take appreciate your pictures, appreciate the videos you post within the platform, and as I said, the platform offered limitations, and you cannot follow more than 10,000 people. So if you want to reach like 100,000 people, for example, now you are 20,000, and you go now for the 30,000 and 40,000 and 50,000 and 100,000 and more. You have to realize that you cannot follow more than 10,000. So it is not easy in that way. But if you consider from the global perception, those people follow you, and that's okay. That's okay. Nothing is broke, you know. People could engage with you without you are follow them. No, you don't necessarily follow them. And so, anyways, each person has their own appreciation and judgment about the platform and what is about. You know, the ideal world is do we not have any limitations to follow people? That's the ideal. If you follow 20,000 and you got 20,000 followers in the same time, that's wonderful. But that's not the reality, you know.
Yeah, you remember when we reached, we both reached the same 10K goal.
Yeah.
We were talking about this. This was like, for me, this was disgusting because it was like an ethical problem for me, because I felt like I was putting against the wall, because I always try to follow people, but I cannot follow all the people, which is stupid. That's one of the limitations that I find in TikTok that I don't like, because in my case, I think it's like I had to be. I had to be honest. I hate this, that I had to unfollow people to be able to invite other people. That's something that TikTok should try to change. Sooner or later, it will be a good idea. For instance, if now I have 20K, maybe the best thing I suggest is that I could have 5K more.
Yeah, but at the same time, as I said, you know, it's nothing broke. It's nothing broke. It's nothing. Everything is okay. If somebody follow you and comment you and whatever, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can unfollow people, no problem. Even though 10,000 is too much to develop a good engagement. Somebody could not easily engage with 10,000 people, for example. But you can actually you can engage with 1,000 people with the real quality communication. You know, I think it's just a perspective. You know, it's just how you judge the situation, and of course, we already accept this limitation long time ago when we surpassed the 10,000. So now, I mean, you are far away. You are 20,000, and each person has you know, the perception of those limitations and work for it. You know, but it's nothing broke.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
What I consider a mistake in TikTok, the reason why I consider this a mistake in TikTok is because instead of taking time to create, produce good projects, many people are using their time following and unfollowing, which is okay, but maybe if TikTok changed that philosophy and left us have follow 5K more than we are followed, that would be fine, because we have like a capacity, ability, or the chance to dedicate our time to create. And now, not to be all the day following and unfollowing, because it's like we are tied, like in prison somehow. That's something I consider that could be improved.
Yeah. Well, actually, the ideal is not to get followers because you follow other people. Is to get followers for your work, for your original content. This is the ideal, you know, and people follow you because they like what you do, not because you follow other people. That is the ideal, you know, for me, anyways. But now, as I said, 10,000 is far away. You are wide open now for reach the next step. What I imagine that is the 30,000, and I hope you can enjoy this journey. probably, I don't know, that is depend what you do, and suddenly one of your posts could be viral and attract so many people just suddenly. I don't know. It's very unpredictable. It's everything is depend of you now.
Yeah, I'm going to try to create more content connected with my literary works on my literary projects. That's something I think is going to be more interesting for people, because many times they are going to take access to what I do apart from TikTok, and I think that's interesting. Um, the thing about social media is that many times people can be followed because of viral content, and also because they can pay for campaigns or for of course, if you can pay, you can afford paying for many campaigns and so on. It is easier. If you are a famous person, of course, you have an advantage. And in the case of you and me, we are creative people with different passions who want to share them, and we are starting from behind. We are starting the race from the last row, and that's why we had to be creative, we had to be honest, and at the same time sharing people the content we can create that has to be different. If we all do the same, if I start dancing in front of the camera, for me it will be a disaster. Of course, I can do what I do well, or what I consider I can do better each and every day, and that's something that I am trying to do. I am going to finish the first year in August with the same schedule that I did then. That is one video each and every Sunday, which is a lot for me because I am very busy, but at the same time, as I cannot share 2 videos per week right now, for me it's like a great achievement to reach the 20K in around 7-8 months. For me it's amazing. I am very grateful for you, as I said before, and also to all the people who has started following me and being so kind and so warm and so kind people. Kind people are very amazing, and I have followers from Brazil, as you know, and later from Latin America, United States, different countries around the world. I am very happy to go on with this project, which is amazing for me.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, and yeah, and concerning about when you repeatedly thanks to me because I was the mentor, so-called mentor of this project. It's okay, you know, that is a past. Now you are completely independent, completely. I appreciate that you mentioned me, but I'm okay, you know. I'm glad that you are actually on your own track, on your own. You know, you are like a bird flying away in any direction, completely independent, and that make me really happy, you know. And also because you mentioned your emotion, sentiments, and projections through this project, and you experiment some kind of, you know, humankind experience in all different forms, and that as well make me happy, you know. We in between all this internet things that as we said is the bad and the good, the worst and the best. So overall, it seems like you are happy, and that makes me happy. Your happiness is my happiness. And I want to thank you for your time today, and I wish you enjoy your weekend as usual.
Thank you so much, Omar, and again, and also thank you for all the projects you have always. You are always sharing the people you meet, the people you find interesting, your travels around the world. You're a special person because you know how to deal with people, because that's something you have done in your travel experience, and that's something I really appreciate all you do. And I know that people who follow you are all of them are like grateful for all such an amazing attitude towards life. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, John. I wish I send you a big hug, and take it easy and enjoy life.
Okay, the same for you. My best wishes as usual for you, because you deserve the best, my friend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know. I feel really strongly about like women's rights, like the mother-child relationship, I guess. Especially like now that like after being a parent, because I kind of searched on and off like throughout the years, for my birth mom, but then like more recently, like since I had her, then I like really like more in depth thought about it and did like the search, just because like I couldn't stop thinking about it, like I was like, oh my gosh, like I know I said this, but it's just like so weird to think about, like all you go through when you're pregnant and having a baby and like all the moments, and then it's weird that I feel like it's such a like enormous thing to go through in like a beautiful way, but also that I don't even know like the name of the woman that did this for me. So I don't know. I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and that's kind of how I'm here now. Oh, thank you. I know it's really hard to talk about, like, because I genuinely, it's like something very like close to my heart. It's like, oh, it's hard. But I think in the end, I'm like, how can I still try and have hope, even if it's, because maybe we don't know, maybe whatever the circumstances, but honestly, like, I just don't want her to feel shame or negativity. Like, I don't know what she went through and what was that like. That had to be so traumatic, So I guess one of my things is like, I want her to know it's okay. I'm here, like if she can't or doesn't want to talk to me, it's okay. But if she does, like, I'm open. I'm bringing nothing but positivity, and just want to say like thank you. It's kind of one of the main points that I've been thinking about. Even if she did some, I don't know, but like I forget. I feel bad because I don't even feel like I have like a right to say, but like of course I forgive her. You know what I mean? And like I don't know what she went through, and she probably had reasons if that was the situation. But I think just the unknown. And like you said, right? So like for my job, like I literally like I helped like trauma therapy, right? Like talking about traumatic events. How do you process and work through them, because it affects us in so many ways, like just the layers of trauma and what it does to our brain. So I think that's why I really like try to express like it's okay. Like if you're ready, that's okay. If you're not, it's okay. I don't want to, like, honestly, the last thing I would want to do is like make it worse for her. So if she's not ready, I guess I just wanted her to know that I'm here even when she is, or that also that I tried, So ideally, I would love to like, I don't know, like get to know her and all the things, but I think I don't want to be too hopeful because I don't want to be like heartbroken. So I try to keep realistic expectations, and realistically, I know I've said this, like two main things I would love to know. I would love to know if she's alive and what her first name is, because that's more than I've ever known. Like I don't know her name. I don't know. It makes me sad too because I think like, what if like, I know this sounds like, okay, so say one day I'm just going through life and like this is the day that my biological mother died and I didn't even know. So I don't want it to be too late, I guess. Yeah, I think, because we don't know about DNA, right? But I think it's possible that, okay, so I think maybe my biological grandpa, abuelo, is Melanio Aranda Sanchez, and then my possible father, padre, is Luis Alberto Aranda Torres, and he did have a girlfriend in the area, zona of Cacupe, and the baby was born around 1991, 1992. So that might be me, but I'm not sure if I'm that baby. But still gathering information.
Do you ever went to Paraguay? Do you know Paraguay?
No, but I want to. I mean, I was there when I was a baby, right? But not since then. And I would love to go. Like, I've been doing like YouTube, looking at Paraguay, like music and food and just like all of it, right? And I don't know, I think it's fun to like learn about it, I guess. Like the struggles, the beauty, all of it. And I really just feel like proud of being a Paraguayan and that this is the country that I'm from. And I don't know, I just feel very proud that this is, you know, my roots and trying to gain more information about it. You know, I really want to go. It's just, I think that's like, I have so many, like one of my main things is just like taking time off work. It's like traveling to another continent and with a 1-year-old, like it's just, it's a lot, but I definitely would love to go. But like, I agree, because I don't know, that's, I mean, like I want to know more about the country, because like here in the United States, like, especially in Seattle, right? Like we have, it's like a totally different, like, environment, like climate. I mean, like physically, but also like political and all of those things. It's like a different perspective. So I'm trying to just keep like an open and neutral mind, just to like gain understanding of all of it. You know, I have a hard time when people say things like I think people see the things that have happened maybe, and again, like I'm still trying to understand, but like some not amazing things maybe, and that I'm lucky, or what are the things people say? I don't know. I should be grateful, and it's hard because I don't know. Whatever said that I wasn't grateful, but I feel like that's like an assumption that's happening a lot for some reason. Like, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, I want my life to be, like, I don't want to erase my whole life. Like, of course I'm grateful and happy. And that's the whole point, is like, that I am grateful and happy so that I can now do this. Do you know what I mean? So that I can say, like, okay, so I am a mom, right? So, like, I always thought, or when I was, during the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't imagine my baby not, you know, like, I would always wonder, is she okay? Is she all right? What happened? Where does she live? So, like, to give the peace of mind to the parent, just to know, like, oh, she's okay, she's safe, like, I did all of this for a reason, or my baby is happy and healthy. Like, that's the goal, is to be able to tell her that I am okay. You know what I mean? Like, that I am American and all these things or whatever, but that I can say thank you and that I have a happy and healthy life, you know? So I think it's interesting when people say that I'm not grateful, because that is the whole point, that I am so grateful that I want to say thank you to her. Just find it interesting. But I understand that, you know, everyone has a different perspective, and I honestly think every feeling is valid, no matter what, you know? Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I don't know, because you've probably been everywhere, right? So you've been to Seattle. Like, it's just, like, it's that's what I was trying to say, like, it's such a different environment here. So I totally hear what you're saying, and just, like, being in touch with the earth, and, like, taking time to, like have some mindfulness, or kind of slow down and be in your own thoughts, and just such a peaceful place, right? Like, so I totally get you. That's awesome. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Okay, Mariana, take it easy, and good stuff for you, okay?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com. From Quebec, Canada, Omar Diaz reported.
Hi there, Omar.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going? Not too bad. My name is Robert Byron, but everyone calls me Salty Beard. Right now I'm in Victoria.
A few weeks ago I had a chat with Robert Byron, aka Salty Beard Backpacking from Vancouver Island, British Columbia. He is a popular influencer on platforms like YouTube and Instagram, where he shares his bike travel experiences with his followers. Thanks for your time, Bob. What does the weather look like over there right now?
Well, we've just had a fair bit of rain come through. We might be getting some sunshine, but this time of the year it's going to be wet, and it's around 3 to 5 degrees centigrade. Sometimes it'll get up to 12. We have pretty mild, temperate temperatures right here in Victoria itself. We don't have to go far out of Victoria though to see snow.
I've been in Victoria once. I remember I used to work in the field somewhere in agriculture, Saanich, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's actually where I am. I'm not right in the downtown core. I'm just a little bit north. I'm in Saanich.
Saanich, North Saanich or South Saanich was the name. Saanich Town.
Yep, yeah, I know where Saanich Town is. That's up a little bit farther north.
I spent time in Victoria. No, that's north. Because when you're coming from Vancouver, you got the boats in Tawasin, and then from Tawasin,
yeah, and you're in Sydney, and you're about 25, 30 kilometers to drive into Victoria. So you go through Sydney, North Saanich, and then Victoria.
Were you actually cycling around Vancouver Island? Beyond that.
So I kind of cycle everywhere. Most of my kind of 2 and 3 day trips are relatively local. They're kind of Victoria to Nanaimo area in there. And every fall I take a really big trip somewhere, and I kind of make episodes over the winter. So this year I've done a couple of trips that are North Vancouver Island. And last year I did a trip that was basically kind of Vancouver to Penticton through a bunch of back roads that most people don't really travel on.
When you assume and you face your own fears and everything, I guess is the ideal. But this is part of the human. What do you think? It's part of the human condition, huh?
It is. I mean, all of our cycling that we do, we always push our comfort zones, and whether or not those are physical limitations or technical trails, or it's our interaction with cultures, we always it's only human nature to kind of challenge ourselves. And I think that's how we grow as people, is to step over those comfort zones. And for some people it's just being social, right? It's being out on a trip and kind of having that little bit of anxiety of when you meet new people or you get into situations that you've never been in, right? And working through those. So I think that fear is, you call it, that little bit of anxiety is natural, and it's whatever it might be. For some people, it's they don't want to, or they've never camped out in the wilderness, so their anxiety is over wildlife, right? And it's just a matter of exposure and doing it and learning along the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talking about exposition, and then when you put your tent in the middle of nowhere, and then you feel the fear, but you have the freedom to do that. Anyways,
that is. It's I think one of the things that attracts us to bike packing and cycling in the wilderness is that disconnect from everything that's going on, and that freedom of just, if you've set up your trips where you have an easy timetable, then you can stop whenever, and you can take that extra time and just enjoy the lake that you may have stumbled upon, and you don't need to get up and get moving right away. You can have that second cup of coffee and enjoy. And I think that's what bike packing is. It is for me. I think I have 2 distinct modes when I'm kind of in a racing mode, where I'm actually preparing for bike packing races, versus when I go out on my own vacations. It's about recharging my own batteries. So it's about just taking my time and soaking it all in, and enjoying that, and working through whatever either mechanical or logistic problems that I've got, or route finding, whatever the case may be. And again, learning from those situations. I'm a really low-key person, so most of the time when I meet people out there, they're kind of in the same mindset as me. They're just chill and relaxing, and you're meeting somebody that's new. And there's so many times that I've met people out in the wilderness that it turns out we actually have mutual friends. I have so many small world stories. It's kind of amazing. But I think if you spent a long time on a bike and you've traveled in different countries, I think that's a bit different, because you can have a long stretch of having kind of no human contact, and then all of a sudden being in like the hustle and bustle of a larger city or something like that can, I think, upset you and kind of get on your nerves.
In my environment, I said, if you pass the 10,000 kilometers, you never come back. Even though when you come back and you have it settled down somewhere, actually you never come back. This is my experience. I don't know what is your experience, but sometimes I feel like people who are actually traveling for quite a long time and stuff, and spend a long time in the roads, and then you just go away and never come back, even though, then when you come back, you're dealing with the situation. What is your experience?
I kind of know what you mean. Sorry. I know kind of where you're coming from. I haven't had the privilege to be able to go out for that extended period of time and enjoy a lot of other countries besides Canada and the U.S. I mean, I've done some traveling in Mexico. But as a cyclist, I've heard that from people that do cycle around the world and cycle, multi-continent, is that when they do come back, they never really do settle down. They still always want to be traveling, or they still feel like they are traveling. And I haven't had that scenario yet. Most of my trips are in that 20 to 30 day maximum is kind of what I've had. So I haven't had any issues with kind of adjusting back to a regular 9-to-5 job or anything. So.
Exactly, and but we agree that cycling actually is an existential blast, I will call, because it's amazing experience.
It is. It's as we always read about cyclists. You reach your highs and your lows, and you can have that in a single day, where you reach rock bottom because you're tired or the weather's bad, and you don't want to go on, and then a half an hour later you can be at a complete high. And it's an emotional roller coaster every day when you're cycling big trips, and I think the bigger trip, the more that's accentuated, where you can have really low periods where you don't want to be around anybody, or you're not having a good time, you just want to end the trip and everything, and then moments later you could that's the only thing that you could be doing is out riding your bike. And I think that is a benefit of cycling. That emotional roller coaster, again, exposes us to things that we don't normally get: anxiety and fear and joy and elation. That's something that cycling, I think, gives everybody. The longer you do it, you experience more of that, and it's quite a full experience,
including the spiritual experience. Huh?
Yes, including that too. Yeah, everyone experiences things differently, and they absorb things differently, and they transcend that energy into different, it manifests into different ways for every person, right? So some people, it's a very spiritual existence. For other people, it's more, quite specific or related to other life events, right? So
every person has a different style, different, as you said, way to absorb the situation. But anyways, we agree, and that is a truly a great experience to go away. Eh?
And I think cycling is kind of like, I'll call it a great leveler, in the sense that you can be a high-end racer, or you can be just an everyday person who goes out to ride the bike. The bicycle is the common factor, and you can exploit that vehicle in any way you want, whether or not it's rolling down a boulevard to go get ice cream with your children, or going racing, or adventuring around the world. The common denominator is that you're on a bicycle, and you're seeing everything at a slower pace, and you're smelling everything that you're going by, and I think that's that's the absorption tool, I guess, if you want to call it. It's part of everyone when they go cycling, where it's like, I put in the effort to go up the hill, I get to go down the hill now. I've put in the effort, I can enjoy a beer, or you've cycled all day and you've met someone new, like a family or something like that, and you sit down and you have that meal. It's all that sacrifice that led up to that moment that makes that moment even better.
So what is your present situation? You stay in one place or you are actually on the road?
So I actually have a full-time job, so I have a career, so I'm anchored to that. I work a 9-to-5 job, so I just try to get out on the weekends or my long weekends. I have the fortunate ability to have every second weekend is a 3-day weekend, so I try to get out. And I ride to and from work every day, and then on my whatever time I can get off, I try to do that as a big trip to go somewhere. So, this summer I had 9 days to go somewhere, and then I had another 15 days to go somewhere. So that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I would love to be riding more often. I would love to have a semi-retired life, but that's just not, really in the cards just yet. I do have some bigger plans. I want to do a cross-Canada trip that's just as much dirt and mountain biking and bike packing style as possible, and I'm going to use that as a fundraiser option, but I think that's still a couple of years down the road.
Did you ever have it in mind to cycle with another person?
I do almost everything by myself, and it's partly because the planning of big trips can be difficult the more people you add to it. So I like the flexibility of when I do travel alone, that I can, I want to go over here today, or I want to just sit on my bum in camp for an entire day because it's so beautiful. I don't have to answer to anybody. But when you are on a trip, everyone is always making a concession, and it has to be very amiable. So I think when you are on trips with other people, there's other considerations that you have to take into account, but it's nice to be able to share your experiences and enjoy them with another person at the same time. And again, because people experience things differently, then you can talk amongst yourselves about what experiences you gained on that trip you may see differently than the other person. So I think that's the joy of having somebody with you. But again, it requires a lot of concession and a lot of discussion so that one person doesn't feel like they're going slower than the other one or faster than the other one. And it's just a life of compromise, which I think life is all about compromises.
Any recommendation to anybody, global audience?
Okay. So I think for people that are getting into cycling and to bike packing specifically, a lot of people think that it's a big adventure and it's very complicated, but cycling is all about baby steps. It's all about starting off with slow, manageable goals, and eventually you grow as a cyclist and you grow as a person, both with your physical abilities and your technical abilities, and eventually you get there. So it's about being patient and just taking small steps and enjoying every moment along the way.
Hey, thank you very much from Quebec. And
thank you very much from Victoria.
Have a good one, eh?
You too. All right, take care, Omar.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Salut.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com.